peace, power, and love, sent from above, below, and all between, from the universe to the universe. Let's us rehearse in it and of it. Once again, Humam Abdulmalik, your host of Blackanized International Nubian Consciousness, Conscious Chess Moves, to motivate, stimulate, agitate, so that we can relate to our social problems and our social ills, so that we can heal together. Because we can't be full of Novocaine and not feel the pain as it keeps raining down on us in our communities from an outside source. It's not by divine choice that these things are happening to us. It's by manipulation. Let me see. And it's like manipulation that's been going on in our nation for years at a time. We think it's a generational curse, which it is, because we allow it to happen. We don't take a stand and deal with the obstacles that they plan. We got to, because we know we're dealing with a most hypocritical and diabolical man. It's a mentality that we dealing with in our reality. And we got to realize that. Ever since integration, it's been a messed up nation. I mean, because integration brought assimilation, and assimilation brought emulation. And what I'm talking about, when we had segregation, even though they were still doing those negative things to us, we had developed communities, cities, and infrastructure, where we had our own transportation line, own banking system, everything that we needed. But they got jealous and envious. You see all the pictures that they show us of lynching us and burning us and castrating us? That wasn't because of nothing we did to them. They lied about everything. See, they had alternative facts back there. They're lies and deceivers. They want us to believe that we done something wrong to suffer at their hands. That's not true at all. It's because we had those thriving cities. And they didn't want that for us. So they listened to fabrication, a lie, whatever. And they bombed one of our cities and they attacked the other cities. Sometimes we stood up and ran them off, but for the most part, they achieved their goal. And then they, with their fraudulent laws of passing like a civil rights bill that everybody jump up and run up the hill like Jack and Jill. But the thing is, what is civil rights? That's like local, and it's like it's only doing domestic things, you know. We need human rights. Human rights cover the whole globe. Human rights is more powerful to have than civil rights. And then the thing about it, we so caught up in these fraudulent laws that laws change all the time. See, they got to vote every year on those civil rights or the voting rights. Don't forget that in their law book, we are 3/5 of a human being. Can you believe that? That's what they said about us. When they came out the caves, the Nagathar, the Troglodyte, and all that, that we taught them how to walk upright. But we in this plight, in this day and time, in our communities all over this country, we're all over the globe, but they say all politics are local. We being manipulated, our young youth, our young warriors, our young guardians of our community, our young protectors. They're being manipulated into a silent war against each other, shedding their blood and their bloodline, which is our bloodline, wasting the blood, precious blood. When it's empty out of the vessel of life, out of the temple of the divine essence, we die. We don't be here no more. So that's one more taken away, and it becomes greater essence of a generation gap as they sit back and in their laboratories and devise schemes and ways to put us in a state of decrepit mode or whatever. But they manipulate us to do things to ourselves, become criminal in essence to ourselves. They take out the essence of love from our mindset and from our heart for ourselves. Through the Willie Lynch syndrome, they're having us hating our own. But we got to realize from the inner skies, from the inner verse, we have to understand that we are the original man and woman, that we must hold our family in high esteem from the divine aspect first and foremost. And we develop everything around that. So we got to go back to African spirituality. We got to go back beyond 2017. We got to go back in the storyline before they start aligning with their alternative facts. And, you know, we know they've been decepted in all times with this crap, because they're always gambling with our lives. We got to realize that we can't be part of this game no more. We got to be real. Because we don't, we're going to be continually be killed by our own hands, by our outside source, and then they manipulate us to want to bring that same source into our communities. We got to control our communities. We got to be the guardians and protectors of our communities. Because if we don't, we'll be letting the enemy in our door and won't even know it. Because it comes in many disguises. See, the source of it, we don't know for sure, but we definitely got to find out and stop it. We got to stop the selling of the drugs. We got to change the hate into love. We got to protect our children, our women most of all, because through them all life come. And our warriors must be warriors. We must become that village. We must become out of that state of mind of self-hate. And I'm going to get mine however I got to get it, because I got to eat. We all got to eat. If we come together collectively as brothers and sisters through love, and promoting love and peace. See, we want to be in the system because, the system throw us change. But we don't change along with the change they give us. We need a divine change. We need a mental change. We need a spiritual change within ourselves. Yeah, it's good to get those contracts and get the money. Like they say, if we ain't at the table, we ain't getting nothing. Well, we gotta control the table. We just can't be at the table. We gotta be the one preparing the meal. We just can't be looking at the menu. We gotta look and be in the kitchen. We gotta be at the table, preparing that meal, preparing that money or whatever. If that's the way we're gonna do it. If we're gonna sell our souls for the money, on whatever level we do it on, let's be the ones that controlling it. Let's get the minerals and deal with it from that perspective. It's time now to rise up as a people unified. It ain't time now. It's been time. Because this been generation after generation that we've been going through this manipulation. From this, I'll say, this for lack of better words, diabolical nation. I mean, I say that because of what we've been through in their story, that they said is history. They show us what they did to us and we enjoy it. We go to the movies and look at it and we clap and we applaud. We look at all the races, innuendos that they give us, and we just look at it as entertainment. It should be education. We should be educated to the degree now that we have the highest degree in life, because education is experience. And it's also, you can get a book knowledge and all that and get your college degrees and all that. But then when you get them, you become Greek manifestation of your learning. You become in the Greek fraternities. And we know well, I'll say ham well, because I don't like using vulgar language. But to put emphasis on it, I'll say that ham stuff ain't the correct stuff, because you be stuffed like a turkey. I'm talking about you be like manipulated. You be like brainwashed. You be indoctrinated. And it's a good look because, you know, you got your paper, you got this degree and all that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. When you can become in agreement with your position to help everyone, that should be your mission. It should be to uplift your people, uplift your village. Should be part of that. But it ain't like that. It's like you become like a clone or a cyborg or under robot control, but on a different level. Not like our young warriors. They under robot control with this silent war of shedding blood of each other and not having the love that we need for each other. More self-hate that's been programmed into them because of the money, because of materialistic value, not being responsible. That's what it's all about. See, a male is more than, it's just not just being a male because you're a male. A male means responsibility. A male means that when you're dealing with a female, that you in a relationship, that you honor that relationship. And you be about that and hold your woman in high esteem and be a family man and be responsible with growing your seed, cultivating your seed and bringing it up. And see, like when you be out there as that young warrior in the negative realm and spirit, you out there and your seed is here. And there's no telling what's going on at home or whatever. But then if something happened to you, I pray that nothing never happened to our young warriors. I pray and I proclaim that the Creator open our hearts and our minds, and especially you, around the country, not only local, not only here in Ward 8, but everywhere, and bring upon your mind, to change your mind, change your concept, to be spiritually free. Come into the divine path that of our ancestor laid from their grave that they went into, from the lynching, that strange fruit that Billie Holiday talked about, and the great debaters when them young brothers seen what they did, in the history books when they pushed our sisters and brothers over water in the Atlantic for those who came on that ship, that the rapes and the manipulation and the castration that they done in the deep South here in America. We can't forget that. We can't forgive that. We can't turn the other cheek, because that's not the reality that we should meet. Not to do anything out of emotion and being emotional. We got to be rational. We got to develop an infrastructure. We got to organize and unify and come together as a people. We got to let go the egos and the self-centered and the arrogance and all that, and come together in harmony and peace. We got to break this paradigm. We got to break this cord or this electrical currency or this frequency that they connect to us to manipulate us, to use us as robots. They use us as robots. We walk around with our eyes wide shut. We even sell our soul to want to be like them. we we become, in essence, when we sell our souls, Negro pens, and we don't have no care concern. You can see this. I mean, it's always about a job. You know, we all need jobs to survive, right? But when you see these if you happen to get caught up in this slave system and you be on the auction block in the courtrooms and stuff like that, you can see those marshals and how they act. Look how they act. You can see some of the police in the street, I'll say slave catchers or overseers or whatever. But in reality, you just see how they act different from us. You know, like they ain't like us. They don't have no humanity of the hue that we have. It seems like their perception of things or the data in their brain is like totally different, like they totally different from us. For example, they just like the brother that was on Get Out. The ones that was caught up, they've been hypnotized and don't realize whose side they should be on. Oh man, it's like I'm not angry. I'm not mad. I'm so insanely beside myself that this stuff is still going on in our community. And like the brother said on the Great Debaters, you're lucky I'm doing it this way. You're lucky I'm just talking about it because the time ain't here yet. Because I'm not being proactive at the time, say that. I have to be reactive to see what the system do. Get a chance. They say give a man a chance. Give the political system a chance. What we've been doing all these years. Since 1776. If it started off with the ideology that we were 3/5 of a human being, it haven't been broadcast or said out loud that we changed this law. They based everything on fraudulent law. And don't forget the Dred Scott law. That's law on the law book. When they say the European ain't got to abide by nothing or adhere to nothing that what they call as Negro at the time. But you think that still don't exist in their mind? In this charade, this political charade and parade that they got going on, the masters of deception, as they continue to plot and scheme to implement their dream of a new world order. How many presidents have you heard use that quote? Even Obama used it. So we can't get caught up in the color of the skin. It's the mind, the mentality, and the spirit, and what you speak out and how you act, your actions, is who you are. See, you got to walk your talk and talk your walk. And you got to know more so than believe that what you're doing is correct and right, that it is righteous. It's a revolutionary, evolutionary process that we got to go through. But I'm telling you, I'm pleading with us, and mainly myself, because I'm not talking to you, down at you, or at you. Whatever I'm saying about myself too, because it's a process with me. Also, they had me once upon a time. I had sold my soul, not to be a Negro pen though, but I was out there in the street, in the cesspool, in the quicksand. It was pulling me down. I had to wake up. That's why I went to college. Not by choice, but by a lie, I went to college. And I got my PhD in streetology. So I don't make an apology. And I don't, my lifestyle in the past, I don't glamorize it. I don't. Because I was in that quicksand, in that cesspool of negative lifestyle, being manipulated to, be in the fast lane, hurting and bringing pain to my people. But I had to wake up. I had to wake up and make a choice to change. Not to be a part of the problem no more, but a part of the solution through the power of the Creator and my ancestors. And changing my mind, changing my thinking, changing my living, changing everything about me, my eating and everything. But I ain't perfect. None of us perfect. We reach for perfection when we deal with the Creator in us, and we live that lifestyle, the character, and the personality. And now dealing with people, then that is sort of like the perfection that we deal and dwell on when we're in harmony and peace. When we come into the realization that we are part and parcel of this thing called life, is a puzzle that we got to put together in unification. And all institutions got to come together on that level. We got to overcome the divide and conquer. That's because you might be a black nationalist, or you might be conscious, or your third eye might be open, or you might be a Christian, or you might be a Muslim, or you might be a Jew, or Hebrew Israelite. But we all in the light. We got to bring us together, make us tight. This unification from the innerverse to the universe. We can't get caught up in the manipulation of these people who dealt with. I was getting ready to deal with, these two books. This is the small miniature version of the Bible, and this is a version of the Holy Quran. I got a Hebrew Bible over there somewhere, but I don't speak Hebrew. But they got to bring us together, because the master manipulators that from long ago use these things to keep us from being together, though. It's a divide and conquer methodology that they got in our mindset. And they don't give us no apology. What they give us is a story, a distorted story of our story. They try to begin from 1470, whatever, 73, 56, when the Vatican, they said that sanction supposed to have been divinely, that we can be enslaved. First, they was dealing with the Muslims, Islam. They said they fought against them or said they can be enslaved. But they took that away from them and put it on us, because that both of them enslaved the people from Akabu land, or so-called Africa. And then they used both of them, Christianity and Islam, and Hebrew Israelites, and all the other religions, to keep us together. Not together, but separated. They keep those together that practice those institutionalized religion, and have them separated from everybody else. But guess who's in there, those religions? The majority of them is what? In Christianity, us. The majority in Islam is what? Us. The majority in every religion, institutionalized religion on the planet, is us. But it keeps us not together, keep us repelling each other. We gotta overcome that. We got to, right now. We gotta love our people for our people being who they are. It's us, genuine and unique, from Akabu land through African spirituality, and it's a reality that we're hurting ourselves all over the world. But the thing about it, we got to come into our inner world and understand who we are, and practice it. We got to wake up today, man. We got to stop the killing, especially our young warriors on them street corners who being manipulated. Wake up, realize that you under robot control for frequency and vibrations and everything. And it's a generational curse that's been handed down for the examples of the ones who came before you. They used to do those things. I'm talking about from pimping, leaning, and fiending and all that. All these negative energies to misuse our women. But let me not get off track or course. Of course, my whole dialogue this morning is based on that I didn't keep it on, but it's really based on this here, what's happening in our communities. We know what's up front. We know our young warriors out there being manipulated or whatever from whoever we know is an outside source. They got these weapons in our communities, clip guns and like they're in a war zone. These weapons come from a war zone, and how do they get in our community? Along with the drugs. We have evidence that at one time the FBI brought heroin into our communities, and we also have evidence, again, that the CIA brought cocaine in our community. So, and now this other drug, K2 and Flakka and all that, don't you know they're developing something? This is an open laboratory. I said it last night, that these people are trying to create zombies. You know, the movies they've been showing us, the ones that's cannibalistic and all that. I'm telling you, we got to prepare for that. They ain't got commercials of it in the stores. Go on some 7-Elevens or liquor stores. What they got on the advertisement? Zombie liquor or whatever. You better be prepared. You got to listen. You got to look. You got to perceive. You got to be observant in our community. That's one essence of it, this open laboratory. And then also on that, I'm missing children. I mean, I know it was 800,000 missing women. Then it's 800,000 mixture of man, women, and children. But it wasn't like at home in the backyard like it is. If it was, it wasn't being said or known, you know, until like Alicia Rashad, is that her name? Yes. And then some other children that happened to sister up right over here in Southeast, right over here across from what is it? 7, I mean, right here, the police precinct, right there, right across the street from her. Her daughter been missing for some time, got 2 children. This got to stop in our community. And now, like it's every other day. Every other day, somebody's coming up missing like it's a plaything, it's a fad or trend, you know, because we're not being observant in our community. We're not in control of our community. We letting anything go in our community because we're not soldiering up and standing up as responsible men and women, being the best parents that we can be. See, but it's all part of the manipulation. It's all part of this open laboratory that they're using different methodology. The main one is the drugs. So when you're intoxicated and you're so caught up on them drugs, you don't even care no more. Each drug is worse than the previous one. We thought the crack epidemic was so terrible. That was the beginning. Now this Flakka and this 2K and all that is worse than that. Even with the crack at one time, you know, there was people was giving up their daughters for whatever, getting the drug and all that. We got to look at what our hands did to ourselves, and our hands must purify. We must wash our hands of the blood that we caused in our own community and the blood that we are causing today in our own community. We got to stop that. We not only got to pray, we got to be proactive in our methodology to do what we're supposed to do in our communities as black men and women. It's our problem. Even though this social ill comes outside of our communities that affect us by those up in higher heights of affluent society. They're playing a game with us. We got to I hope that, you know, they ain't playing no game with me, because I don't see a lot of stuff going on. But if it ain't, it is, or whatever it is, I hope that I can be heard, because a couple of times I talked for an hour or so and I wasn't heard and I had to delete it. But anyway, our problem is our problem that we got to solve. We can't put it on the police or so-called, I say /slave catchers, because that's what they do. They catch us and they put it on the concentration. They call it jail. But see, if we wasn't committing no crime, it wouldn't be no need for us to be crying about that situation. If we purify ourselves and stop committing crimes, stop taking drugs. See, the crime is on the effect of drugs. It's like a domino. It's a domino effect. See, if we wasn't taking drugs, we wouldn't commit crimes to get the drug money and then be in a state of mind that we be intoxicated all the time. We can't allow ourselves to continue to be manipulated and experiment on. Because I'm telling you, The laboratories are not in the buildings no more. They got them there where they create their diseases and all that. And now it's an open air laboratory. Because they done got so great at their manipulation and their scientific experimentation, they can have stuff dropping down from the air. They got it in the food and the water we drink. All this fast food, McDonald's and all that. And man, I'm telling you, don't really know what you're eating. And then in Chinese food, you don't know what you're really eating. From processed food that cause heart attacks and all that, high blood pressure, low blood pressure. Then you're taking the drugs on top of that, and then you're drinking on top of that, alcohol. How much? 50 proof, 90 proof. The more high, the more drunker you get. Just like when they use drugs, the more pure the heroin is, they be trying to OD, trying to die, just for the feeling. Man, if you want to feel like that, you want to nod, go to sleep. If you want to feel some, euphoria, man, to have a natural high and reflect on your past when you was a child and you had that fun and all that. But it's a serious day and it's a serious time, especially in this political arena. See, the thing going on that we got to really realize that it is a divine essence, right? But it's also these people through their bloodline that keep this line going on for generation or generation. And they trying to orchestrate everything that's on our mind because they done gave us so much on our minds that we envision, that we listen to them through the Bible and the Holy Quran and whatever else. They manipulate these situations to, like one day bring in holographic picture of the so-called brother, the Messiah, or Jesus to come out the sky. And what if that happened? Or if they manipulate that situation, what will happen? What will happen if they manipulate and say the Third World War or the World Armageddon is here? What will happen? Where do we be? Do we be still enslaved, had that enslaved mentality or that enslaved spiritual reality? Or do we stand back and be the divine beings that we are and we realize that their lives ain't no fact? We can't keep going on what they say. That's why we got to realize who we are and what we say according to our African spirituality. All I got to do is be who I supposed to be. All we got to do is be who we supposed to be and open up to the reality of who we are. Learn who we are through understanding the universe, through the DNA that's already divine and prescripted of who we are, according to a divine decree on the pathway of our ancestors. And the leadership that we have today is focused on the problem, the real problem, and not trying to assimilate or integrate into a system that we know is not great. We know that this system is based on manipulation and deception. We know that this system is the system that keep it perpetrated of all the drugs in our community and the weapons in our community. But the thing is, we got to make a choice. Do we take the drugs? Do we take the guns? And see, people say that that's a way of means of getting money to get that and clean the money up. But getting that and cleaning the money up, look how many people you done left that ain't clean, that is dead and is dying and caught up on this drug. So whatever we do, let's do it righteously. Let's motivate, stimulate, and agitate. Let's build up, not tear down. Let's be constructive and not destructive. Let's be in peace and love. Let's do this every moment. Let's think it. Let's think that. Let's be that. Let's be who we are, the shining star. Be the light of tranquility and peace, of harmony, of togetherness, of love. We got to promote love and peace in our community. That's the only way that our community is going to correct the ill effects in our community. I want to say salam, I want to say peace, peace, and I want to say salam alaikum, and I want to say ashe, hotep, namaste. I want to say all these greetings to all the people that may be listening, and part of this energy and synergy that I promote, that I speak, the truth that I know through my understanding, through my divine right, to being given this light, given these words to say, downloaded into my system from the Creator within me in my temple. Because I love my people, I love myself, first and foremost, and myself is what? Myself is you, just a reflection of you. On the righteous side of things, on the godly side of things, because I can be negative, and it's a choice. We have to choose what we're going to be, so we won't be used. Because if we don't make a choice, we're going to be victims of manipulation and the deception of alternative facts. That's what they say now, alternative facts. And the millennials, our young brothers, who so, and sisters who are on it. But don't forget where you come from. Don't forget where you're coming from, so you can know where we're going. You got to be part of the plan, too. You can't be egotistic, self-centered, or none of that. Our entertainers and all. We got to come black to us. Mold and shape what we want. Because we know the ill effects of what society had. We know that they program us. We know that. So we got to overcome that. We got to take the resources that we got, the monetary resources that we have. We got to buy things and develop things, manufacture things. I'm talking about the music, the television, the movies and all that. Man, buy that stuff. So those in control, those Yahudis, I'll say Jews, and those, I'll say transgenders or homosexuals, they're the ones at the top that control and have pulling the strings like we are puppets. Cut those strings. Don't be estranged with this system that we know is corrupt. We know this system ain't about us, but we be manipulated to perpetrate the system, to assimilate into the system. How can you change something when you're assimilating into it? Unless you go into it and affect them like they affected us. Like they did, they sent the Asian provocateurs in our organizations. So let's return the favor. If you go into the system, be about us. Be about the development and rising up of us as a people in harmony and peace. We promote peace and love. That's what we promote as a people. And the violence that they manipulate in our community, we got to stop. So young warriors on them street corners, you got to know that it's a silent war that you're going through against each other. You might know the brother down the street or up the street might be your cousin. But what? Because of a few dollars or a girl or whatever, and y'all using those AK-47s or automatic weapons on each other, and then you don't know what you're doing because you haven't been trained. You hear somebody ain't had nothing to do with anything. So if you stop the war against ourselves and then we rise up and become unified, we become unified in our efforts. We got to, because this is what it's about in this day and time. In love and peace, I'm calling on our young brothers, young warriors, the guardians, the real guardians and protectors of our community, to embrace us as who we are as a people, a unified people. I implore you, I beg of you, I plead for you, because without you, it can't be no us. And that's because we're the real protectors. You are the real protectors. You are the young warriors who protect our young children that they're snatching up now. Our young sisters that they're snatching up now like it's a fad or a trend. It was unheard of in our communities before. We sleeping. We got to wake up. Wake up out of your drugged-induced stupor. Don't be dumbfounded to where it's dumbness find you. Don't walk around with your eyes wide shut looking like you can see and you're blind to everything that's going on around you. Nobody should come in our community and be able to do what they're doing now. Not every other day. Come on now. We got to do this. We got to be the protectors in our community, because it's our lives. We living in this community. It ain't like a job with the police and this and that. It's a job with them. Let them do them job. They should be doing their job. That's a criminal act. Stop that. Stop bringing the drugs in our community and the guns and all that. That's criminal. Do that. That's your job, not to come in our community and be hunting. You're on the hunt to see who you can catch so you can take them to the plantation. So that's why we got to purify ourselves. If we ain't doing nothing wrong or committing no crimes, they don't need to be in our community. Let's promote that. Peace, love, and understanding. From one black man to the black family. I implore you, I beseech of you, as a humble servant of you, by divine decree, on the pathway of our ancestors, to complete our mission. See, they say the last will be first, and the first will be last. Or is it the first will be last and the last will be first? And see, we got to remember that verse, because we was first, right? We the original people on the whole planet Earth. So we got to come back to our original birth. We got to give and receive the breath of life from the Creator and get that mystical wife and create that family once again. And be without the sin. And do righteous things, bring our community together. Whether you're Muslim, Christian, or Jew, you knew and you know the truth. So let's do it in this day and time, in this political climate. With that, I say, peace always, peace and power, the power that we have through love. We got to promote it. We got to promote peace and love in our communities. And we got to stop everything that's going on in our community. And we can't allow it no more. The snatching of our children for sex rings or body parts or whatever. Well, man, it's a thing. Remember we were seeing all the police shooting and all that? We don't see that no more, right? Now they done put something else out there now. They got our local kidnapping of our youth. Now that's being promoted. What happened to long time ago? Because this ain't just happened. 800,000 missing children. This is a epidemic, a worldwide epidemic. But when it hit home, no more. Come on, we gotta get on our job as the protectors of our community, as the guardians of our community. It ain't all about party time and all the time. It ain't about going to the alcohol all the time on the Fridays and all that and going out. Why we doing that? What do our children do? We'll get our children these telephones and we know what's on them. In the computer and all that. We know what's on them, but we gotta be protected of them also. We just can't give it to them and let them go run wild with it. We gotta see what they're thinking and how they're acting. I know, because I be listening to what they be talking, and man, I ain't even gonna comment on that right now. That'll be another subject matter for later. So with that, I say again, peace, love, and understanding from the divine essence that's in us, in our temple. I want to give shout-outs to my brother Osidosi. I want to give shout-outs to my brother Ricky. I want to give shout-out to my brother Malik Farrakhan. Ceasefires don't smoke, the brothers and sisters. I want to give a shout-out to the People newscaster. That's Yango Sawyer. I want to give shout-out to the whole world and tell them that it's time for us to come together. We got to come together in one mindset, and let's correct this deceptive, demonic atmosphere in the air that we breathe, and the mindset that they're trying to get to us from their laboratories inside the building in the open air. We got to read the bell curve, because all it is about stimuli. They're doing things to see what will stimulate us to go in a certain direction. We got to beware of the Flacker and the 2K, because they're trying to create zombies. They already got FEMA positions, buildings and all that in position. They got cassettes and all that because they getting ready to do something. It might be a worldwide epidemic with some type of stuff that's going to be killing people and all that, and have everything in a chaotic confusion. You've seen it in the movie, but they trying to manifest it in the reality. Believe me. Have a great day and love. Peace.